Islamic law, marriage known as nikah, is regarded as a civil contract rather than a religious sacrament. This union is designed to legitimize sexual relations, procreation, and establish mutual rights and duties between a man and a woman. Unlike many other religious traditions, Islamic marriage is governed by clear legal principles, ensuring that both parties enter the relationship with defined responsibilities. These principles apply to both Sunni and Shia schools, though there are minor variations in their application. Understanding the essentials of a valid Muslim marriage is crucial for appreciating how Islamic law shapes personal and social relationships. Let's explore the key requirements that make a marriage valid under Muslim law. First, essential for a valid Muslim marriage is the process of proposal and acceptance, known as Ijab and Qubool. One party must make a clear offer and the other must accept it unconditionally. This exchange must occur in the same meeting, ensuring a meeting of minds. The acceptance should be immediate and not subject to any conditions. For example, if one person says, "I marry you," and the other responds, "I accept," in the same sitting, the requirement is fulfilled. This straightforward process highlights the contractual nature of marriage in Islam, emphasizing clarity and mutual agreement from the outset. For a Muslim marriage to be valid, both the bride and groom must be competent. This means they must be Muslims of sound mind and have attained puberty, which is generally presumed at age 15 unless proven otherwise. The law also notes that while the marriage of minors is valid under the Child Marriage Restraint Act, it is punishable. Competency ensures that both parties are capable of understanding the contract they are entering into, safeguarding their rights and interests. This requirement reflects the importance of maturity and mental capacity in Islamic marital contracts. Consent is a cornerstone of a valid Muslim marriage. Both parties must freely consent to the union, without any force, fraud, or coercion. If consent is not genuine, the marriage becomes voidable. This principle is illustrated in cases like Mohid and Vikat Ijabi, where the absence of free consent rendered the marriage voidable. Ensuring free consent protects individuals from being forced into unwanted relationships and upholds the dignity and autonomy of each party. It is a fundamental safeguard in Islamic marital law. Witnesses play a crucial role in the validity of a Muslim marriage, especially under Sunni law. At least 2 male or 1 male and 2 female Muslim witnesses are required for the marriage to be valid. However, under Shia law, witnesses are not mandatory, though proof is needed in case of disputes. This requirement ensures transparency and provides legal evidence of the marriage, which can be important in resolving future conflicts. The presence of witnesses underscores the public and legal nature of the marital contract in Islam. Dower or Mahr is a mandatory gift from the husband to the wife in a Muslim marriage. It can be prompt, meaning immediate, or deferred, payable later. Even if the dower is not paid immediately, the marriage remains valid, but the obligation persists. Mahr is the wife's legal right and symbolizes respect and security within the marriage. This requirement highlights the contractual and protective aspects of Islamic marriage, ensuring that the wife receives a tangible benefit as part of the union. Muslim marriage is invalid if certain legal disabilities exist. These include prohibited degrees of relationship, such as mother-son or brother-sister, violation of iddat rules, the waiting period after divorce or death, or if the woman is already married, as polyandry is prohibited in Islam. These restrictions are designed to uphold the moral and social order within the community, ensuring that marriages are conducted within acceptable boundaries and respect Islamic principles. Muslim law recognizes 3 main types of marriages: Sahih valid, battle void, and fasid irregular. Sahih marriages meet all essential requirements and are fully recognized. Battle marriages are prohibited under law, such as those involving incest. Fasid marriages are irregular, often due to missing formalities like the absence of witnesses in Sunni law. Understanding these categories helps clarify the legal status of different marital arrangements and the consequences that follow. Valid marriage in Islamic law is a contractual union requiring consent, capacity, and legal compliance. It is not just a personal or religious affair, but a legal arrangement governed by well-defined principles. These principles uphold individual rights, dignity, and social responsibility in marital life. By understanding the essentials, one can appreciate how Islamic law balances personal freedom with social order and justice. Muslim is someone who believes in the oneness of God Allah and accepts Prophet Muhammad as the last messenger. Legally in India, a person is considered Muslim if born to Muslim parents or accepts Islam through conversion, declaration of faith, or conduct voluntarily and with understanding. There is no fixed procedure for conversion, but it must be genuine and not for fraudulent purposes. Once recognized, a Muslim is governed by Muslim personal law in matters like marriage, divorce, succession, maintenance, and inheritance. Deen courts recognize individuals as Muslims by birth, conversion, or declaration. This legal recognition is important because it determines which personal laws apply to the individual. Muslim personal law governs key aspects of life, including marriage, divorce, inheritance, and maintenance. The flexibility in recognizing Muslims ensures that the law can adapt to diverse circumstances and uphold the rights of those who genuinely embrace the faith. Muslim law is derived from a combination of primary and secondary sources. The primary sources include the Quran, Hadith or Sunnah, a consensus of scholars, and Qiyas analogical deduction. Secondary sources include custom, judicial decisions, legislation, and principles of equity, justice, and good conscience. These sources collectively ensure that Muslim law remains rooted in divine guidance while being adaptable to changing circumstances. Quran is the holy book of Islam and the most important source of Muslim law. It contains direct revelations from God to Prophet Muhammad and provides basic principles on marriage, divorce, inheritance, contracts, punishment, and more. The Quran is the first and supreme authority in Muslim law, and all other sources must conform to its commands. Its verses guide both religious and legal aspects of Muslim life. Hadith refers to the sayings and actions of Prophet Muhammad, while Sunnah describes his lifestyle and conduct. When the Quran is silent on a matter, Hadith and Sunnah provide guidance. These traditions help clarify and expand upon the principles found in the Quran, ensuring that Muslim law remains comprehensive and relevant to everyday life. Ijma is the consensus of scholars when the Quran and Hadith are silent on a particular issue. It is binding if it is the consensus of the Prophet's companions or early jurists. Ijma ensures that Muslim law can address new situations by relying on collective wisdom and established principles, maintaining unity and consistency within the community. Qiyas involves reasoning by analogy when no rule is found in the Quran, Hadith, or Ijma. Jurists apply established principles to new situations, such as extending the prohibition on alcohol to drugs. Qiyas allows Muslim law to remain flexible and responsive to changing social realities, ensuring that its application is both logical and just. Custom, known as urf or adat, is recognized as a secondary source of Muslim law, provided it does not contradict the Quran or Hadith. Custom must be ancient, continuous, reasonable, and not immoral. This allows local traditions to be incorporated into Muslim law as long as they align with Islamic principles, making the law more adaptable and relevant. Judicial decisions, especially those of the Supreme Court and high courts in India, serve as important secondary sources of Muslim law. These decisions interpret and clarify the application of Muslim law in contemporary contexts. For example, the Shah Bano case clarified maintenance rights under Muslim law, demonstrating how courts shape the practical implementation of Islamic principles. Legislation passed by the Indian Parliament codifies parts of Muslim personal law. Key statutes include the Muslim Personal Law Shariat Application Act 1937, the Dissolution of Muslim Marriages Act 1939, and the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986. These laws provide clarity and uniformity, ensuring that Islamic principles are consistently applied in personal matters. In cases where no specific rule exists, courts apply principles of equity, justice, and good conscience, provided they do not conflict with Islamic principles. This approach ensures fairness and adaptability, allowing the law to address unique situations while maintaining its core values. Muslim law is derived from divine sources like the Quran and Hadith, supported by scholarly consensus, reasoning, and custom. Over time, legislation and court decisions have shaped its application in India, ensuring its adaptability and relevance. This blend of tradition and modernity allows Muslim law to remain both rooted and responsive. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, differences in interpretation of the Quran, Hadith, and other sources led to the development of various schools of Muslim law. These schools represent different methods of interpretation and legal reasoning within Islamic jurisprudence, broadly classified into Sunni and Shia sects. Each sect is further divided into distinct schools, reflecting the diversity and richness of Islamic legal tradition. Sunni sect has four major schools known as madhabs: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. Each school is recognized and followed by different Sunni communities with unique approaches to interpretation and legal reasoning. These schools provide flexibility and structure, ensuring that Sunni law can address a wide range of issues while maintaining unity. Hanafi school, founded by Imam Abu Hanifa in Iraq during the 8th century, is the most widely followed Sunni school. It is known for its use of reason and opinion, greater reliance on analogical reasoning, and flexible, liberal interpretation. Hanafi law is predominant in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Turkey, making it highly influential in shaping Muslim personal law in these regions. Maliki school, founded by Imam Malik ibn Anas in Medina, emphasizes local customs and traditions of the city of the Prophet. It gives importance to Hadith and the consensus of the people of Medina. The Maliki school is followed in parts of North and West Africa, reflecting its regional influence and respect for local practices. Shafi'i school, founded by Imam al-Shafi'i in Egypt during the 9th century, systematized the use of sources of law including the Quran, Hadith, Ijma, and Qiyas. It is more conservative than Hanafi but more structured, and is followed in Indonesia, Malaysia, East Africa, and parts of Egypt. The Shafi'i school's emphasis on structure ensures clarity and consistency in legal interpretation. Hanbali school, founded by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, is the most conservative Sunni school. It strictly follows the Quran and Hadith, avoiding personal opinion or analogy. The Hanbali school is the official school of law in Saudi Arabia, reflecting its commitment to traditional interpretations and strict adherence to primary sources. Shia sect, though smaller in number, has its own schools of jurisprudence. The main schools are Ithna Ashari, Twelver, Ismaili, Seveners, and Zaydi, Fivers. Each school has unique beliefs about leadership and legal interpretation, reflecting the diversity within Shia law and its distinct approach to reasoning and tradition. Ithna Ashari or Twelver school is the largest Shia school, followed in Iran, Iraq, and parts of India. It recognizes 12 imams as religious leaders and relies heavily on reasoning, aql, and the sayings of the imams. The school follows Jafari law developed by Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, emphasizing rational interpretation and guidance from the imams. Ismaili school, also known as the Seveners, believes in 7 imams and is followed by Aga Khani and Bora communities. Ismailis have their own religious heads and interpretation methods, making their jurisprudence distinct within the Shia tradition. Their unique approach reflects the adaptability and diversity of Shia law. Zaydi school, found mainly in Yemen, is closer to Sunni law in practice and believes in 5 imams. Its legal approach bridges Sunni and Shia traditions, reflecting a unique blend of interpretation and practice. The Zaydi school's proximity to Sunni law highlights the interconnectedness of Islamic jurisprudence. Key differences between Sunni and Shia schools include leadership, sources of law, witness requirements in marriage, and the permissibility of temporary marriage. Sunnis chose caliphs as leaders, while Shias believe leadership must stay within the Prophet's family. Sunni law relies on Quran, Hadith, Ijma, and Qiyas, while Shia law emphasizes reasoning and the sayings of imams. Witnesses are mandatory in Sunni marriage but not in Shia, and temporary marriage Muta is permitted in Shia law except for Zaydis. India. Most Muslims are Sunni Hanafis, and Indian courts recognize the application of different schools in personal law matters like marriage, divorce, inheritance, and maintenance. Shia law is also applied separately to Shia Muslims, ensuring that justice is provided in accordance with religious beliefs and personal laws. This recognition of diversity allows Indian law to respect and accommodate the various traditions within the Muslim community. Schools of Muslim law represent diverse interpretations and reasoning traditions within Islam. While all schools follow the same core principles, they differ in application and methods of legal reasoning. Indian courts acknowledge these schools to provide justice in accordance with the religious beliefs and personal laws of individuals, ensuring fairness and respect for tradition. Muta marriage is a form of temporary marriage recognized under Shia Muslim law, particularly among the Ithna Ashari, 12 or Shias. It is not recognized by Sunni Muslims. Muta marriage is a contractual union for a fixed period and a fixed Dower Mahr, originally allowed to provide companionship and protection for women during travel or wartime. Today, it is largely confined to Shia jurisprudence. Muta marriage is a temporary union between a Muslim man and a Muslim or Kitabia woman for a predetermined duration and upon payment of Dower Mahr. It is void under Sunni law but valid and binding under Shia law, provided the conditions are fulfilled. This unique institution serves specific social and legal purposes within the Shia community. The essential conditions for a valid Muta marriage include specifying the duration of the marriage, agreeing on the Dower Mahr, obtaining free and informed consent, and no need for witnesses or formalities. If no duration is fixed, the marriage may be treated as permanent under Shia law. These requirements highlight the contractual and flexible nature of Muta marriage. Only a Muslim man can contract a Muta marriage, and the woman must be a Muslim or Kitabia Christian or Jew. Married women cannot enter into a Muta marriage, and while a Sunni woman may marry a Shia man under Muta, it is legally risky. These restrictions ensure that Muta marriage remains within defined boundaries and respects the principles of Shia law. Muta marriage has several legal consequences. Children born out of a valid Muta marriage are considered legitimate and have the right to inherit from the father. However, there is no mutual inheritance between spouses, and the woman is not entitled to maintenance after the expiry of the fixed term. She is entitled to dower whether the marriage is consummated or not. The woman must observe Iddat if the marriage is consummated, and no divorce talaq is required as the marriage ends automatically after the agreed time. Indian courts recognize Muta marriage for Shia Muslims. Cases like Aga Mahmud v. Khatun Bibi and MSD. Sakina v. Amir Ali have affirmed the validity of Muta marriage and the legitimacy of children born from such unions. This judicial recognition ensures that the rights and obligations arising from Muta marriage are protected under Indian law. Muta marriage is a unique institution under Shia Muslim law, serving specific social and legal purposes. It is temporary, contract-based, and comes with limited rights and obligations. While it provides legitimacy to children and a lawful relationship between parties, it does not offer the same rights as permanent marriages, especially in terms of maintenance and inheritance between spouses. Before 1937, personal matters of Indian Muslims were often governed by customs and usages, many of which were un-Islamic and inconsistent with the Quran and Hadith. To address this, the Muslim Personal Law Shariat Application Act, 1937 was passed, aiming to apply Islamic principles uniformly in personal matters of Muslims. The objectives of the Shariat Act are to ensure that Muslim personal law is applied in personal and family matters, abolish customs inconsistent with Islamic principles, and codify and enforce Islamic law where there was uncertainty due to mixed customs. This act provides clarity and uniformity, strengthening the application of Islamic law in India. Shariat Act applies to all Indian Muslims, whether Sunni or Shia, in matters like marriage, divorce, inheritance, gifts, waqf, guardianship, and maintenance. Section 2 makes Islamic principles binding, overruling customary practices. Section 3 allows Muslims to declare that Shariat law applies exclusively to certain matters, and Section 4 enables state governments to make rules for the Act's implementation. Shariat Act 1937 unified the application of Muslim law, abolished un-Islamic customs, empowered Muslim women, and provided legal certainty. However, it does not codify Muslim personal law, relying on interpretation by courts and scholars, which can vary. Some areas remained uncodified until recent reforms. Despite its limitations, the Act was a landmark reform promoting uniformity, clarity, and justice within the Muslim community.